You're on Threads and growth feels impossible. You're tired of refreshing, praying for likes, you're terrified of the hate, and then you've got your Skool community, it's dead silent, and that's just reinforcing every insecurity you have. If that's you, congrats, my friend. You clicked the right video. So today I'm giving you the no bullshit frameworks that helped Dr. Sam, our sleep doctor, grow from 4,000 followers on Threads all the way to 12,000 in 1 week. The frameworks that I have used to grow my Skool community to 2,100 members and rank in the top 100, and the ones that I'm using right now to rank in the top 25 for my new paid community. My question to you, do you want to just clone my exact steps? I know you do. So stick around. Built in Public, episode 3. The whole purpose of this series is to just share the real shit that I'm doing, that Dr. Sam is doing for building our Threads audience, as well as building our Skool communities. So obviously with Saints College, that's a free one, and it helps people grow on Threads. And then with Full Circle, it's a paid one, and that helps people grow on Threads, but the cool people. No, we're not like that. And then with Dr. Sam has Sleep Skool, and the plan for Dr. Sam is to build that up to 4,000 members and build her Threads audience up to 40,000 people. And then at that point, she'll probably have some sort of paid offer, but Dr. Sam is in no hurry whatsoever to monetize. And we spoke about the importance of playing the long game there in terms of monetization, because you're just building up all of this goodwill. And last week, we also spoke about how with Threads growth, speed and like the rate at which you learn, it's always going to help. Because if you are just going through this cycle of posting the same stuff day in, day out, and then nothing's actually changing, it's just really slow growth, then as the saying goes, it's like definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you need to learn, and you need to learn fast and have an open mind to learn. Then you also want a niche that resonates. So with sleep, for Dr. Sam, one could argue that it's so broad that you can't actually call it a niche, because we all do it. Or at least we all should properly. I'm not going to get into that because that's a can of worms and it's a triggering word for me right now. So then we're also talking about how Dr. Sam can carve out a niche within the topic of sleep, because right now it's like everyone wants to have a better sleep. Who doesn't? I know I do. Okay, that's enough. So then we also spoke about engagement and how you can boost engagement in your own Skool community. And there are basically some key factors there. It's like you need to make it beneficial for a member, you need to make it regular, and you need to make it easy. And if you do all three of those things, you're making it like the chances of people engaging with your content, not just in Skool as a community post, but on Threads as well, are much higher. And across all social media platforms, engagement is good. So make it easy, make it valuable, and make it regular. Okay, metrics. Let's focus on what Dr. Sam, where Dr. Sam is at right now with her metrics. So easiest to just show this live, and I'll reshare my screen again. Arc tab window. Cool. I get some reactions for whether or not you can actually see this time. Sweet. Sweet, sweet. All right. Now I'm hoping actually it would be easier if, there we go. Oh, boom. Okay. How's that for a post? So Dr. Sam is at 12.1K followers today. I believe Dr. Sam was at 12K last week. And then the week before, Dr. Sam was at 4K. So if that doesn't indicate, or if that isn't representative of just what Threads growth is, I don't know what is. And we'll be talking about that for some of Dr. Sam's challenges in a little while. But obviously, Dr. Sam's had some great posts going on over the last few days. So it's up and down, and that's just the nature of the game. In terms of where Dr. Sam's Sleep Skool is at, I think we're about 104 members this time last week. And as of today, we're at 138. So 34 new members is really good for a Skool community, like a free one. over a week, like it all adds up. So that's where Dr. Sam is at today, 31st of March, 2025. And now to look at some wins. So this is where really, like for Dr. Sam, because the bulk of this is going to be talking about the challenges, but this is really where the consistency thing is going to come into play again. And people, like, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. And I bring that up because of those metrics that I was just talking about. So Dr. Sam is still posting, like following the kind of strategy that we recommend in Saints College, and then we give a system to actually implement inside a Full Circle, which is the posting 3 times per day. And by extension, you've got different formats for those 3 posts per day, and then you've got 3 long form posts per week. That's the gist of it. And it just goes to show that you can be doing the same thing each week, and one week you can gain 8,000 followers, and the next you can gain 100. But if you keep going, you'll get there eventually. You can't lose if you don't quit. So Dr. Sam hasn't given me this win, but if I had to give one to Dr. Sam, it would be this. And if we're looking at it more of a vanity metric win, this is a great post. I don't want to be rich for the handbags. I want to surprise my mum with concert tickets in Italy. Pick up the dinner tab without a second thought. That's a nice one. Create memories that aren't on sale, but are priceless. That's wealth. Great post. The wins for Dr. Sam, I would say, are keeping consistent despite the fluctuations. And if you're watching this, listening to it, I know that you've experienced those too. Doesn't need to just be on Threads, anywhere. So in terms of the community engagement for Dr. Sam as well, because that's been something we've been talking about, and honestly, it's looking really good. I'm just having a skim through some of the recent posts. There was one from 2 days ago, 7 likes, 4 comments, and with 138 members, that's really good. I might go into this for one of the challenges for me later on, but Saints College has 2,100-ish, 2,150-ish. And look, sometimes there'll be a post that has that kind of engagement as well. Actually, I'll just show you because I know there are a bunch. So it's not about the numbers. It's about the quality of the engagement, especially in a community platform. But that is jumping ahead a bit too far. So that is what we can turn to in terms of Dr. Sam's wins. But the challenges are really the crux of what I want to talk about for this portion of the episode. And they center around 4 main questions. So to give you a bit of a heads up as to what they are, we've got basically the Threads growth question. Like what I've been talking about so far is that it's gone from 4,000 followers in week 1, and then 12,000 in week 2, and then 12,100 today. So Dr. Sam asked, what's your take on how to grow on Threads right now, as at the end of March in 2025? The second question was, what's the minimum and preferred posting schedule inside the community, Sleep School, and how many days per week? How long should the post be? Which is a great question. We'll get into that, obviously. And then the third question is that in a previous conversation Dr. Sam and I had, I mentioned posting more engagement content, and basically Dr. Sam's asked for some examples there. And then lastly, this one was a bit more of an intricate one, but I think it's actually something that's really relevant to everyone, at least at some point in the online business journey. So the question, is there a Skool tool, I like the rhyming, to qualify members further? Because for context, in Skool, you can ask 3 membership questions. One of them is normally, what's your email? Maybe the second one's, what's your biggest challenge that we can help with? And maybe third one is traffic source. Where do you come from? How do you find out about X community? Dr. Sam is asking, how can I qualify members further? And the context of this is I changed my CTA from you'll love my community if you like sleep science, to if you struggle to sleep, but I still get random people. Can I add a questionnaire? Okay. So I guess the question there is, what's the easiest way to do that, the most seamless way to do that, and we'll dive into that. Coming back to the top, and that question was Threads algorithm stuff, how to grow on Threads right now, March 2025. Yikes. So where do we start? I've done 2 deep dives on the Threads algorithm, and if I was to really sum it up, like if assuming that you have not been on Threads before, and if I was to try and explain it to a 5-year-old, what worked when Threads launched in July 2023 and what's still working today, the key ingredients of authenticity, so just like unpolished content that isn't too refined and it's speaking from the heart, it has lots of emotion, and it's raw. Think about how, and if anything, that's just going to become more and more valuable as we get more and more AI content online. So the authenticity thing has been a constant. Then there is the idea of the storytelling, and they go hand in hand, because the storytelling is another way to separate yourself from everyone who's just using the cookie cutter ChatGPT stuff. And then you've also got, look, it all comes down to the engagement. And as I was doing my kind of deep dive into the algorithm a couple of months ago, month ago, thereabouts, it's the same thing that came up when I was doing that 2 years ago. It's the posts that generate the most engagement are the posts that will perform the best and in turn generate the most followers. Because if you are getting people to comment beneath your post, it's getting more people to be on the platform longer. And if more people are on the platform longer, then it's better for advertisers when advertisers do come to Threads. Currently, they're not, because it means that there's just more potential to push products to people. And then if there are more advertisers, there are more people paying Zuck money, and Zuck has a great night's sleep. That's the backdrop for the specific stuff that I want to turn into. And more specifically, it's mixing content formats. Again, I've spoken about this in a previous video, but you can post voice messages, you can post images, you can post videos. I'm sure there's like text, obviously, that's pretty much it. And you're encouraged to use a variety of those, because if you've got different content formats, then more people are going to be attracted to the platform. And again, if you think about Meta's objective to ultimately just make as much money as possible, more people coming to a platform means more money. So basically the key point here is to use and try different formats, try posting with some images. And you don't even have to do the Instagram thing where you're just posting like on the highlight reel and got all the filters or whatever. Just use the new image generation by ChatGPT to create memes or something. I'll show you some examples. Let me refresh. One, everyone's doing the Studio Ghibli style of image gen, which is pretty cool. And I did that for myself. And that was accompanying a post, like a story post. And let me try and get that up just to show you. Yeah, here we go. So it's got the Studio Ghibli kind of style, and it's got me kind of writing on a notepad with a brick in another hand. And then there's like a Threads logo kind of blended into the background. And it's got like a tear coming down the side of my face because it was an emotional story, an emotional experience. And it's a great pattern interrupt for people. Yeah, and it's given me a fantasy beard because it's low key like roasting me because I can't grow a beard for shit. The mustache for okay, but beard, just it's not going to happen. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. And it's a great pattern interrupt because you don't see stuff like this, at least up until Image Gen came out. But it means that the only limit is your imagination, and you can create truly novel things that are tailored to your post that complement it. And that is another actionable tip that I would recommend. Mix up your content formats, use ChatGPT Image Gen to tailor the generate the image that you're creating to the post itself. So it's not just clickbait, but it's like actively it's related to the post and it's getting more eyeballs that way. So that's the format thing. And then the other one is tags. So Threads does not have hashtags. They're just called tags. And this is something, if you were a part of college class last week, you would remember. And then it's something I've discussed multiple times. But basically, when any sort of social media platform introduces a new feature, they're incentivized to give people a little boost who use it, because they've implemented this feature in the hope that it will help their bottom line more, ultimately make them more money. Otherwise, why would they do it? Because it's the capitalist society. That's fundamentally what it's all about. So therefore, they're going to give people a little bit of an incentive to use it when it first launches. So think Reels. When Reels first came out from Instagram, they were boosted a lot. Same thing with tags on Threads. And they've just had a recent update where they're not actually integrated in the post anymore like they used to be, but instead they're attached to the top. So Threads growth, it's like you've got your handle on Threads, and then to the right of it, there's a little arrow, and you can put a tag that encapsulates the nature of the post. And basically think about these tags as SEO, but on Threads. You're helping the Threads search function and the user of it find the right content, find the content that's going to be best suited to them. And the tags are a way to do that, to achieve that goal. This is also a way that you can make your content on Threads more timeless, because I'll often have someone who's just liked some of my posts from like a year ago. It happened to me today. It'd probably take me ages to try and find it, so I'm not going to bother. But I saw someone start liking this post. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so Becca, member of Full Circle. Maybe it wasn't a year ago, but okay. So it was October last year. But point being, no one's going to scroll through my feed and find it. It was found because it was searchable. And it was from, 6 months ago, thereabouts. And a few people started liking and commenting on this today. So that's an example of why the topic tags are useful. And especially with their latest little update of now being at the top of the post instead of actually embedded within the post itself. That's something that you can do right now to make your content more discoverable. Okay. Then, what else do I want to talk about? The timing thing is always going to be a question everyone asks. And I've always believed that what you post matters much more than when you post it. Period. You can post at the best times of the day and have shit content and nothing will change. You can post at the worst part of the day and have great content and everything can change. And not just making that up, I've experienced that. That being said, what's the best of both worlds? 3 posts per day, very roughly speaking, 8 hours apart. If you're a functioning human being who gets 8 hours of sleep each night, sensitive topic. Post first thing in the morning, 8 hours later. So say wake up at 6:30 post, whatever. You can schedule them. Post at 2 p.m., 8 hours later, and then post at 10 p.m., 8 hours after that. And it just basically ensures that regardless of where you are in the world, there's going to be some content that is fresh on the feed for people everywhere in the world at a roughly equal interval. And that's what I've done. And like the best system is the one that you can commit to. If the best time for me to post was like, it's going to be a bad example because I was going to say at 3:30 when I'm not awake, but now that I do shift work, I would be awake. But again, if you're a normal functioning human being, if the best time for you to post was 3:30 a.m., it's like you're not going to commit to that. So find the thing that works for you. The 8-hour intervals is what I found to work for me after having posted for 612 days in a row now. Okay, so that is the Threads growth question. Then turning to the next one, which is the posting frequency and content length for posts inside of Dr. Sam's Sleep School. If you're thinking, I'm going to sign now because I don't have a school, don't. I can see you. I can see you. That webcam's on. No, it's not. Don't worry. But think about how these principles can apply to you on Threads, because we're dealing with the same building blocks here, which is posting long forms on Threads, sending out email newsletters. It's fundamentally a question of what's that sweet spot between quality and quantity. And we can all relate to that on some level. So I'm watching you. Firstly, 2 to 3 times per week is ideal. We're talking about a post inside of, in this context, a Skool community that has some kind of value that the members can get. That is also what I recommend for posting long form posts on Threads. 3 times per week is pretty good. And it's actually really good when you start repurposing one to the other. And if you've got a newsletter, same thing applies. You can repurpose a short form post, a long form post into a newsletter, and vice versa. Personally, I prefer the former, which is I'll post a long form and then repurpose that into a newsletter when I had one, or like Skool community post. That is what I would say the optimal frequency is. Then in terms of the length, this is a harder one because it's how long is a piece of string. It's not going to be about the length of the post. It's going to be about how useful it is, how valuable it is. And we've all read posts on Threads that are just so long. And for some reason, like maybe you've read them because you're like engaging with a friend's post or whatever. You've made it to the end and you don't know why. It just certainly isn't because it's been engaging. And we all know this by now, that the length of a post is not indicative of how valuable it is. Oftentimes, the longer it is, the harder it is for it to be valuable, because you need to be able to hold people's attention. It's like one of the greatest skills these days. And it gets harder and harder the longer and longer you want to do it, especially on a social media platform. That being said, taking a look at Dr. Sam's like recent posts, let's have a look at the wild and weird history of sleep medicine. As this is one that I referenced earlier, 7 likes, 4 comments, and this is the length of it. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs, but think like online paragraphs, digital paragraphs, which are a couple sentences, 2 to 3, thereabouts. And I thought this was a really good length when I read it. It gave me a bit of context about the history of sleep and from an evolutionary perspective. And then it had a CTA at the end to come and join the community call. And I thought this was a really nice blend of actual value and then a CTA for me to come and get more. So something like that is great. But then maybe another one of these posts, and again, think if you're thinking about this from a Threads perspective, think that could be a long form post, right? Then another post inside the community could be an AMA, Ask Me Anything. And this is what Dr. Sam did just over 2 weeks ago. And it got 8 questions. And 2 weeks ago, the community didn't have 100 members. So that is really good. An AMA is great. It also obviously gets people to engage. And that's hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, like to actually engage in the comments. And then what I would also be doing here is, and this does apply to Threads specifically, is pinning a comment. It sounds really silly, but it's like a pat on the back in a non-patronizing way. It's a really nice feeling. And I did it to myself without realizing it. And then I realized that I did it to myself and ruined it. But you get emailed when you pin someone's comment on Skool. And I pinned my own comment because it was a valuable comment that people needed to see. And then the day later, I saw this email and the topic, the subject line was, your comment was pinned. And I was like, oh, and then it was for my community and realized that I'd pinned it myself. So if that doesn't demonstrate the point, I don't know what does. And you can do that on Threads. If you see someone's comment to your post, let's have a look. Let me check out the top post. So this is something that I posted a day ago. And if we go down to the comments, I wonder if there's going to be any hate that I can pin. So we've got, oh, what a handle this is. Capitan Grind Set. Jeez. That's got some energy. The comment is authenticity is magnetic. The more you own your uniqueness, the more people will vibe with you. If you're just blending in, you're missing the chance to stand out. Be you. That's your superpower. Always. Respect emoji. That's a cool one. I'll pin it. And I've already got one pinned, but I'll replace that and pin this one. So this, almost certain that Capitan Grind Set will get notified of this pin, which is that kind of dopamine hit. But I'm also giving Capitan Grind Set, I need to give this guy another name, the more visibility, because more views are, you get more views at the top of your post than at the bottom. So for instance, the top of this post has 1,600 views. The bottom of this post has 32 views. Is that it? 32. Maybe it's this one. Either way, it's like case in point, right? So if I'm boosting his so that his pinned reply is above all the others, he's going to get more visibility. That is how you can, well, it's just a small thing. It's like showing gratitude for the fact that someone's left a valuable comment. And as you get more of an audience, that's going to be more and more of a valuable thing to people. And if you become known for doing that, it's like more people are going to engage. Same thing on Skool. Same thing in a community. All right. Moving on to question 3. So actually, just to quickly wrap up there, it's like you've got the 3 posts. You've got the long formy one, which is giving some value, and it's got a CTA to join a call. Then you've got an engagement one. And then in terms of a third one, because I did want to touch on a third to round it off, something fun. There was a post inside of Saints College a few months ago, and it was like someone answered in the membership questions. I can't remember the specifics, but it was like, what challenge has brought you here? What challenge has brought you to Saints College? And I think their answer was, I see Lennox's mustache on threads everywhere, and I just need to know how the fuck he can grow one like that. And then I didn't out the person who replied with that as the answer. I just took a screenshot of the question and the answer and posted that inside of the community, and it was just a shit post. But it's nice to have that aspect to it. So those are your 3 posts. One for fun or just fun vibes or something that's not so serious. One with that long form content that's super valuable, and one that asks a question and gets people to engage. And that is a balance of different content types. That's a good frequency, and it's a good variation of content length as well. Question 3 is already tackled. It was going to be about how to build engagement inside of a community, but we've already discussed that. And I've got some notes here for Dr. Sam, but I'll just send those to her in my own time because we've spoken about them. And then with question 4, this one was about how to qualify members. And once again, I'll go into the details of this, like with Dr. Sam myself, but in terms of what you can do to filter them out, it's a matter of follower. It's similar to on threads, right? Because the questions that you ask in, say, membership questions for a Skool community, they're going to help you filter the members. But on threads, obviously you don't have that kind of gatekeeping unless your profile's on private. And if your profile's on private, I don't know why you're listening to this. So what do? How do you filter people so the right people are following you? And it's through the keywords that you use in your content. And that's circling back to the whole discussion on tags that we were having a few moments ago. The point is the qualification of the follower on threads and the qualification of a member in Skool. It's really important because that's how you build a quality, engaged audience or community. If you just want the vanity metrics, it's not going to have the quality there, generally speaking. Obviously, you blow up and do this for years, you might. So my answer for Dr. Sam here in terms of how you qualify people for a free Skool community, because the problem arose because Dr. Sam has noticed that people like copywriters and people who are basically running their own similar Skool communities are joining and just I don't know if there's any direct evidence of this, but at least there is a suspicion that they're not really someone that Dr. Sam can help. And if anything, they might just be there to like snoop around and maybe steal some content. So how do we avoid that situation? On Threads, you can't, and chances are you've probably already had that happen to you. My best advice there, treat it as a compliment. If someone is going to go to that level to steal your stuff, one, you've written some fucking awesome content, and two, they're a piece of shit. But with Skool, it's free. Just use the membership questions. Don't overcomplicate it, because the whole point of Skool is that it's simple, and it should be simple. If you're doing a paid thing, so we've got Full Circle as our paid thing, then we actually have an application form for that, because when we were doing these one-on-one onboarding calls with a bunch of the members, we realized that there are actually a lot of people who we can't help. We're not qualified to help. We're not a good fit. And we told them to cancel their membership. And we wanted to avoid that situation because it saves everyone time. So therefore, we created an application form. But for a free Skool, it's not as important, and 3 membership questions are more than enough. And it can honestly just be as simple as, why do you want to join Sleep Skool? If people can lie, but once again, like, you're going to figure out who they are, and fundamentally you can't. People can always find a way in and steal your content, whether it be on Threads, whether it be on Skool, whether it be an email newsletter, whatever. That's why I think community is so powerful, because people can steal your content. They can't steal your community, because the content is just a little snippet of the community. But if I go and look at someone's newsletter, I could go and copy that in 10 seconds with ChatGPT or Operator or something. Someone can't do that with my community. Like, as far as I'm aware, like, AI literally just can't copy the entirety of the vibe of a community. It's like an intangible thing. And that's what I try to focus on when I'm dealing with this overarching question of, how do I make sure the right people come in? And how do I prevent people from copying my shit? It's a matter of shifting perspective. If I'm thinking about how to prevent people from copying my shit, I'm in a scarcity mindset. I'm worried about things being taken away from me, and I'm not in an abundance mindset of things coming towards me. I want to think into the future. What am I working towards? And how am I helping people, instead of having my mind fixated on how am I stopping people from copying my stuff? We only have so much mental energy. I want to make sure that mine is going towards the right thing. And that's the thesis for this discussion on qualifying members. If it's a free Skool, just use the, like, why do you want to join this community? And maybe which of these best describes you? And then you can have multiple choice, and then have an email question. That'll be enough. If someone sleeps through the cracks and plagiarizes your stuff, it's going to come back around to them eventually. Just focus on doing the best you can do, building good vibes, culture, giving value. That's how you become your own. That's how you create your category of one, while everyone's trying to copy yours. But they don't realize that it's like a fallacy. You can't copy someone's category of one, because it's a category of one. So that is part 1 of our call. Moving into part 2, reactions if you're still awake. That means a lot. All right. So for me, metrics check. Last week, my Threads growth was, what's the opposite of growth? There's a clear word that I'm not thinking about right now. It was abysmal. And I felt embarrassed. So I worked at it, and it's up. It's still not what I'd like it to be, but the metrics are, the profile views are up by 38% over the last 7 days. Likes are up by 53%. Replies are up by 96%. And quotes are up by 80%, repost neutral. And then the number of posts are down by 95%, but I don't know how that works. Anyway, it's in the green, and last week it was all in the red. So, hey, that's nice. Follower count is at 13,439. So up about 200, thereabouts, maybe 100, can't remember. But getting there slowly but surely. It's been a long plateau. And then in terms of metrics for Saints College, so remember, it's a free school. We have how many members? 2,116. And then our discovery ranking is dropping 420. I didn't plan that. Okay. Then with Full Circle, member number 37. And this is where it's going to get interesting. Discovery 553. So we're at 570 or so last week, maybe. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm expecting to see Full Circle actually take over Saints College, which will be a moment. Because Saints College, for context, it had reached the top 100. Then we launched Full Circle, and I expected it. It's like my time is going to be prioritized towards Full Circle, and we all have days we don't get everything done. Actually, it's every day, really. So oftentimes I'm not able to be as present in Saints College as I'd like to be. Plus, there's the issue of, as you get into thousands of members, it's hard to still call it a community because you can't actually know that many people or have a functional relationship with that many people. But Full Circle, 37 members, you can. And that's why we announced the 365 member cap last week for Full Circle. Very exciting. So that's where we're at. And in terms of some kind of wins for the last week, so I'd say it's really the threads growth in terms of just actually seeing some green there, because it's been quite upsetting seeing it not in the green for a while. And like, why did it work? What did I do differently? I literally just started engaging again, because I wasn't before, because there was so much going on with doing all these onboarding calls for Full Circle and just having full-time shift work, life, trying to buy a house, all of that stuff. Can't do it all. That will be one of the challenges I get into. So it was a win because I did what I know works. You show up, you reply to people, you reply to other people, like on other people's posts, you try to essentially, and if you're going to have one takeaway from this segment of the wins, it's this. Ask yourself, what can I post that no one else can post or nothing else can post? I'll repeat that. What can I post that no one else can post or nothing else can post? No one else, humans, nothing else, AI. What is that to you? Post it. Don't overthink it. Do it. I guarantee you there will be someone, if you truly actually post something that fits that criteria, I guarantee you there will be someone who comments and is, whether or not they say it like this, they'll be thinking it. Oh my God, I thought I was the only one. That's the type of content that makes you grow. So that's on the posting side. And then on the engaging side, don't use the 100 emoji or the rocket emoji. If you want a red flag for AI generated slop, that's it. And keep the conversation going. Use an engagement loop. That's what it's called. So instead of just saying, thanks so much, say, thanks. Which part of the post did you like the best? Keep the conversation going. As the thread's tagline goes, say more, because that is literally serving everyone. Threads is happy, more money for Zuck. I'm happy because someone's engaging in my post. And the other person's happy because we're creating a relationship. Okay. That's the wins. Then in terms of challenges, it really does come back to what I was talking about a moment ago with staying on top of everything, because fundamentally, I know that you just can't do everything. Logically, I know that. But then emotionally, I just really want to. I really want to. And I try so hard to. But it's just a part of life, period of life right now where it's not possible. I'm very hard on myself. and it breaks my heart. And it shouldn't, because it's something that's somewhat trivial, but that's the point of being hard on yourself. It breaks my heart that I'm not able to like get back to people as fast as I'd like to, like reply to messages or engage with people inside of the community as much as I'd like to. And that's been a challenge of mine forever. Like I've been doing the school thing for, technically I actually had a school before Saints College. That's a topic for another conversation. And that started in January last year. I know. Yeah. No, I won't say what it is. So what I was saying, it's been something I've had since day one, when there was literally like 4 people in the community. I was like, oh, I need to get back to this person. And what does it speak to? Perfectionism. Probably that's what it is. A deep-seated feeling of inadequacy, childhood trauma, wanting to prove that I'm good enough, so I need to be perfect. It's probably what it is. And on a good day, what I realize and what I remember is that you'll never get everything on your list done. There's never this, you've never just done everything. Think about that. There's always going to be an open loop. There's always going to be something you can or should be doing. That's life. And it only gets like that more and more. And obviously, I'm saying this as a naive 27-year-old privileged white male who, doesn't have a lot of other challenges. That being said, I know it's true that life only just gets more hectic and more serious, and like there's always stuff. So what's my solution here? Honestly, I'm still figuring it out, but on the good days, it's honestly just the awareness that I can't get everything done, and that's okay. Just pick the 1 to 3 things that really matter the most and lower the bar for what is actually a great day. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't think to yourself that it's only a great day if all my to-dos are done. If I get to, I don't know, 1,000 words on my newsletter. If I get 100 likes on threads, that one's going to be really fucking toxic, because the other ones you can control, but you can't control those. So don't do that. But really, the point that I'm going to be putting out now as a way to keep myself accountable is, don't make your happiness conditional on productivity. Moving towards a close. This is the big strategic question. And as if there is going to be a time where I'm going to pick on you for some random thoughts, this would be it. And then for anyone else who's in the call, if you have thoughts on this, please DM me. And I've already given you the preface that I might take a while to reply to you, but now it's out in the open. So the question is really regarding, so in Full Circle, we have a monthly tier, which is $83 per month, and then an annual tier, which is $1,403 per month. So you see that as an outsider and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? Like 12 times 83, that's less than 1,403. Doesn't really make sense. On the inside, we tell you that there are really 3 kind of key benefits to why someone would join annual, and that we want to really encourage people to join annual because we believe in playing the long game. If we can work with you for a year, we can keep you accountable for a year. Whereas if it's on a month-to-month basis, I think it speaks to that scarcity mindset of, I could be saving this money and like, I don't need to be doing it. And you can say that for anything. No one needs anything except fucking Maslow's hierarchy and like the lower ones. So then it's easier to cancel it, and it's easier to not get the results that you came for. But when you're thinking on a yearly basis, things change and you start thinking very differently. Bottom line is, that's the one that we want most people to have. We can give more accountability because there are 4 coaching calls each week that are small. 3 to 5 people are in them, including the teacher. And it's a chance for everyone to hang out, but to also come and get an answer to anything that you're working on during the day, and then just go and action it, and then come to the next one. Then you also get post roasts, which look like these. So Hatham, this was his week. Hatham and I alternate them. And the annual members get one long form post roasted. So yeah, you're paying us to roast the shit out of you, basically. Pretty good offer, right? And then we roast it, but you actually get actionable feedback and give you a weekly action plan so you can go and get 1% better with your writing. And it's just uploaded as like a Loom video. And then you also get a free Black Twist year account, like the whole year of it free when you join annual as well. And Black Twist is the thing that I've had up here for like analytics and scheduling on threads. Why do I mention all of that? Because one, join Full Circle if you haven't, obviously. But two, those are the key features that make it such a big benefit, and it's like a no-brainer. But the pricing there's been something about it that hasn't made it compelling enough. All that is to say, a lot of context. The question is, should we raise the price of monthly gradually such that, just hypothetically, say that the price of monthly is, I'm going to use a simple number because maths, is $200 per month instead of 83. Now, I'm not going to just jump to that straight away, but let's say it ends up being $200 per month, and that would be $2,400 each year. Or it would be $1,400 if you join annual. So that way, immediately, the value is there. It's a no-brainer because not only are you getting 40% off, but you're also getting all of those other major benefits as well. So that is the kind of thing that I've been thinking about. It was a shower thought at 4:55 this morning, and it's been on my mind since. And look, at face value, it sounds pretty good, but Yaz, this is where I will start picking on you again. Can you roast me with that idea? Do you have any thoughts on it?
What is the question?
Whether you weren't paying attention.
No, I was, but I feel like you just started going on a tangent, and
then I was saying, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So the question is, raise the price of monthly such that it ends up being more than annual if you compare it on an annual basis. Should we do that to make the annual membership the obvious option?
Yeah.
Because it's not right now, but like we know it is a no-brainer. But we need to find a way to make that clearer, and the clearest way is price.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to marketing, anything that you have to explain is not good marketing. And in that case, because I think this is something that I think it was day one, like when we started building this together, that's something that I already questioned you on, why the price was why it worked out that way. And that's purely just because people are used to subscription models. So if you confuse them, like they're used to subscription models like Gym or Netflix or Spotify, where the case is, okay, if you upgrade to annual, it's going to work out cheaper in the long run. So you should upgrade to annual. And that creates a sense of, it triggers their scarcity mindset because they're like, actually, I'll save money if I do this. But it also creates urgency because they're like, okay, I should just do this now because it makes sense. It's a no-brainer. And so this is a thing. So I would do that. But I already questioned you on this, like from the get-go. So
So basically, Lennox, I told you.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But
awesome.
yeah, more so just from what I know of marketing, like as I said, if you have to explain it, then you're just creating extra work for yourself.
As you and I have seen. Okay. For those who are actually paying attention and on the call live, give us a reaction. Give us a reaction if you think that makes sense to clearly convey like that annual is going to be the better choice just from like the outside in. Cool. Okay. Got a few of these ones. If you're thinking about joining Full Circle and you want to get a monthly one, then now's the time because we might be actioning this soon. Okay. All right. Something to think about. And if you do have thoughts about it, please let me know. Send me a DM because it's something on my mind, and the pricing question is one that we all will be thinking about at some point. And I guess if I've learned one sort of tactical thing that you can take away from like this discussion on pricing so far, it would be this. We know that scarcity and urgency are valuable elements of any type of offer. We also know that it can be fake, and it feels fake most of the time. And what I found is that when you charge, like when you offer a product at the lowest price it will ever be at the start, so it's like super cheap, and then as you get better at either delivering on that product, so it's a service, or as you get more feedback and make that product better, then it's just going to become better because you've got more social proof, and objectively, it's a really good product. So that means that you can actually increase the price over time. And what that means is you've got a legitimate form of scarcity and urgency. So example, we started Full Circle, and for the free founding members, it was $39 for monthly and it was like $871 for annual. And only a couple people got that. And that was the worst Full Circle was ever. It's the worst it's ever going to be, period. Because we had the least experience and the least sort of rhythm. Now it's $83 per month and $1,403. And we've got plans because of this 365 member limit to raise that to be much higher. And that means that we'll always have a legitimate way to say, okay, we've literally only got 5 more spots for this $83 per month one or whatever. And similarly for the 1,403 before we raise the prices. And we're also very transparent in explaining like why they're raising as well, because we've got a member cap. And in order for us to actually achieve our dream of being able to make this a full-time thing and to help everyone make money inside as well, that's how it's got to go. So key tactical tip there is, if you're just getting your reps in, do it for free first, then just give it to people as long as they do it for a really low price, get feedback, increase the price as you go, and always have that urgency and scarcity baked in. So one key action for me will be to have a final answer for everyone here on what that pricing strategy will be for next week. I have a feeling Daz is going to remind me that it was just a huge I told you so moment over the next week, and I'll probably just cave and be like, okay, guess we're doing it. You were right. I was wrong. There you go. But that's my action item. And for Dr. Sam, if you're still here, or if anyone who's building a school, you want an action item, it would be to post a fun vibes thing inside your school, because it's easy to neglect that and to just focus on the value. But it's easy to also forget that value can be fun. So post a random meme inside your community. Use ChatGPT image gen to do it. See what happens. Stick around for Built in Public episode 4. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.